If you're in LA and you received a summons for jury duty, here are 3 things that you need to know from a criminal defense attorney here in LA. Number 1 is you should not trust the judge's time estimate. So when you get to, initially what will happen is there will be between like 35 and 45 of you that are all brought into the courtroom. And the judge will give a speech, maybe show a PowerPoint, and explain to you, hey, we expect this trial to last, sometimes they'll say 2 weeks. Well, some of the judges are fairly accurate, but many of them are not. I have been in trials where the amount of time that the trial actually took, that the jurors were required to sit there, was more than double the amount of time that the judge said. Sometimes the judge believes by saying that it will be a short trial, then it will be shorter, and that of course is not the case. So if the judge says 2 weeks and you're like, well, hey, I have a vacation at week 3, don't just trust that it will end at 2 weeks. Many times the judges will fail to include the time for jury selection itself, which can take, especially if it's a murder trial, maybe a week or so. They will also fail to include the time spent deliberating, which can sometimes be significant if there's no agreement. So that is the number 1 thing that I think you need to know. Number 2 is that some judges will not give, so let's say that you have some kind of hardship. Let's say that you are living paycheck to paycheck, or you're in college and it's finals week, some kind of hardship where you really can't do jury duty without it seriously messing up your life. Some judges like to not give you the opportunity to explain any of that, not ask you, in hopes that then any of your hardships will just go away or be ignored, in hopes of pushing jury selection forward faster to the judge's benefit and to your detriment. So let's say that you don't get an opportunity, they don't ask about hardships, they don't ask anything about that. What you can do is when you exit the courtroom, for example, for lunch break or for a bathroom break, it's usually halfway through the morning or afternoon or the end of the day, let the clerk know that you need to talk to the judge. Because whatever it is, you're in college and it's finals week or whatever it may be, and you will get that opportunity, but make sure to sort of advocate for yourself there. Number 3 is that in general, we as defense attorneys and the prosecutors too, it's not jury selection, it's more like jury deselection. So 12 people will fill the seats, or sometimes up to 18, and we ask them questions. If we boot someone off, then that seat is going to be filled with a random person from the rest of the pool. So basically, we have the situation where it's not that we're trying to get the best people, because if I have somebody really good for the defense, of course the prosecutor is going to boot them off. We are trying to avoid having really bad people. So in general, if you seem neutral and reasonable, we are probably not going to kick you off. And then to add to this, I've seen people try to say racist things, sexist things, really out there things in terms of getting off of to try to get off of jury duty. I know that that's the advice that sometimes you'll hear out there sometimes. I think that it is a lot harder to actually say that stuff and stick with it, because it's not like you can just say one thing, like, I would always find the defendant guilty in this case because I hate female criminal defense attorneys, or I hate blonde criminal defense attorneys. Yeah, so it's not like you just say that and then you're done and you're off. The judge will ask questions and say, well, if there was no evidence presented at all, for example, would you still convict the defendant just because he has a blonde female criminal defense attorney? And you will have to stick to your guns for a long time, and they will try very, very hard to rehabilitate you. So just beware of that. And if you have a big conflict where you cannot do jury duty during that time, then defer it ahead of time. And if you can't, make sure that it's known as soon as you get there with the jury coordinator, with the judge, with the clerk, that you do have this conflict and a hardship. I hope that helps. And if you do have an active criminal case in Los Angeles, probably you're not watching this video, but if you are and you want a consultation, you can book one with me down below. You can also find my phone number there.